Yes, sir. You already know what time it is. You already know what's going on. I am your host, Cam Silver,
I am your co-host Kyle Silver.
and welcome to the Silver Boys podcast.
Hey,
So, Kyle, we
talk
officially
to me.
reached we officially reached that week, man. We here now.
Yes,
We are
sir.
here now.
Yes, sir.
College football comes back this weekend. I'm so excited. Then after
Mhm.
that, we got NFL.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Got some big things coming, man. Some big games, on that first day of college football. I can't wait to just sit down and watch it and actually get really get back into the swing
Just
of
get
things,
into it. Yeah. I'm more than excited to see what's about to happen. But
Yeah.
before we get into what's going on in college, let's go over what's going on right now in the NFL.
Yeah.
So the Commanders traded Jahan Dotson and a 2025 fifth round pick to the Eagles for a 2025 third round pick and two seventh round picks.
Hmm.
The Eagles already have Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson, Dallas Goedert.
They're just like it's just they're acquiring like things and acquiring so many stars. Like, and how are they even doing it? How are they doing it?
I don't know. I
Like,
don't know.
it's amazing to really see.
It's it's just crazy to me because it's like, what are they? Like how are they doing that? And then it didn't cost them much.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It just cost them a total of three picks, and
And that's enough.
two of them were seventh round picks
Hmm.
to acquire someone like Jahan Dotson, a good speed threat, a deep threat.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? That could go along with an AJ Brown and already a Devontae Smith, who are two great receivers, and then
Exactly.
also Dallas Goedert, who's a great tight end.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And then we've seen what Jalen Hurts could do. Jalen Hurts at his peak has shown that he can go step for step with someone like Patrick Mahomes.
Most definitely.
Saquon Saquon Barkley at his peak is arguably the best running back in the league.
There's like when Saquon was at his peak, there were like a lot of talks that he was like better than Christian McCaffrey at one point in time, So, and he was just doing that on the Giants. So think about what he can do against, behind that Philly line, that Philly O line, and the schemes that Sirianni will be able to use to get Saquon open in the backfield, get him open, on routes as also, and then like you said, Jahan Dotson being a deep threat. Like, Devontae Smith is a deep threat too, putting them in positions to succeed because you can't double both of them, you know what I mean? Because then you got
Right.
AJ Brown also. And then Dallas Goedert, who is just like phenomenal, on tier with like Travis Kelce, like arguably also too, in my opinion, genuinely. Um, so I think the Eagles are just they're gearing up for to really like take over their division, gearing up to take over the NFC. But we know the NFC is getting a lot stronger. And I can see Washington, they're still in like that rebuild phase as well. So acquiring picks and to be able to use to maybe get other stars or be able to just bring like new guys in, whatever they need to do to give Jaden Daniels his help and give that team the help that they need.
Yeah, no, you're right. Washington is a team that I have been alluded to where I'm like, I think that on the second half of the season is where you're really going to start seeing them to catch their stride.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, this Eagles team is stacked and loaded,
Like it's
and
disgusting. And they
and
still have
I
a great defense. Now, I won't say great defense. They have a good defense. They have a good defense that can still make plays and can still get stops.
yeah,
We
yeah,
saw them kind of like tail off a little bit, towards that second half of the season and the tail end of last season. Um,
hmm
but I think, if the offense can do what they can do and, the defense can just like actually hold together, I think that the Eagles will be fine. I think genuinely they'll be fine, which is disgusting to say.
yeah, no, they'll be. You could tell. I think there's new energy coming in, especially they got some new coordinators coming in, and then
Hmm.
everyone's talking about Nick Sirianni's on the hot seat, which
Yeah.
I don't particularly think so, unless this turns into another year like it was last year.
Hmm.
But overall, yeah, no, I think I'm in the same boat as you. This team will be fine, and then it's just a matter of how if everybody's healthy and how deep they can go in the playoffs at this point.
Exactly. Like we all know that like it Sirianni should be on the hot seat in my opinion if like he loses to like maybe like a Detroit in like the divisional round or something like that. Um
Hmm.
but or like losing to like the Cowboys in the divisional round, like things like that. But like if you meet, San Fran in the NFC Championship game, you know, and you lose by a point off of like a field goal, like then I'm not gonna hold that against him unless like he was the leading cause of the loss. But all things considered, and trying to just play devil advocates here, like I think Sirianni will be okay with the talent that they have just recently acquired, also too.
Yeah, that Eagles team is gonna be one a lot of people are watching for sure.
Most definitely, most definitely.
AJ Terrell signs an extension with or no, not excuse me, not signs an extension, but he signs with the Falcons of a 4 years, 81 mil, including 65.8 mil guaranteed.
Mm,
AJ Terrell is one of the top guys in the secondary, so him with Jesse Bates, and we're about to get into the Falcons too because that's we're previewing that division.
hmm.
Yeah, that's that, and they just got Matthew Judon too, so.
Yeah, you could tell that they're trying to buffer their defense as much as possible right now. Like they're really going for it, trying to go for it, which I applaud most definitely. Um, Not, yeah, no, that's a great, great pickup. AJ Terrell is a very, very good corner who can, lock down some folks over there too.
Hmm. Yeah, I was not caught by surprise, but it was that was okay. Like I see the moves you guys are making.
Exactly,
This is yeah,
exactly.
it was one of those where I'm like, okay, I'm starting to pick up what you guys are doing.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, they're right on track with moving on up, and it's about that quarterback spot, and if Kirk Cousins takes takes the realm like he's supposed to this year, coming off that Achilles injury. And but then also they have Michael Penix, who they said they only needed one game or like a couple drives to feel, yeah, this is where he's at. All right, we're good. Instead of, getting him more time on the
Yeah.
field, which is what I would, expect.
Hmm.
So I don't know. That's very weird to me
Hmm.
because I would expect, I'm seeing like all these other, like I'm watching Anthony Richardson. He's going into the first half. He's going to do the whole first half against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah. And that's
Like
what Michael Penix should be doing as well. Like,
yes,
unless they're like
yes.
really that concerned about his injury, but then why draft him if you were also concerned about Kirk too? You know what I mean?
L- I'm not gonna say about concerned about Michael Payne's injury because Michael Payne. Well, are you talking about Kurt's injury?
I'm talking about both of them also because like my thing is like they should have given Michael Penix like a lot more reps unless you are reserving him because you are concerned about injury or because there were a lot of talks around like his injury history like before he
Oh,
was drafted, and then but then he shot up is what I'm just trying to say. So you're like reserving him to use him later down the line. Like, so are you understand what I'm trying to say? Like what I'm
yeah,
putting
yeah,
down.
yeah, yeah. I'm picking up. I'm picking it up now. Okay, okay. I understand. So yeah, that's a tough one because I'm not sure if it's them actually, really feeling a certain type of way. Because my opinion,
Hmm.
I wouldn't pick you up that early if I was feeling some certain
Exactly.
type of way about your
Exactly.
energy,
Yeah.
your injury, excuse me. Because if that was the case, then you would have slid way back to like the second, almost third round at that point
Hmm.
if it
Hmm.
was coming down to injuries. But like I don't know, but I guess, they seen more than enough of him coming back, coming to Washington and doing this thing at Washington and even before that a little bit. So I don't know what it really is, but I would have as a fan of the game, I would have liked to just seen him a little more, seen him
Hmm.
get accustomed what it's like to get a feel for an NFL game. You know what I mean? Instead of
Yeah,
Like
like actually, like just give him the reps and like so that he can be comfortable because he is the quarterback of the future right now. Um, so you got to get him comfortable at some point, and you don't want to throw him to the wolves, like like, you don't want to throw the man to the wolves when you need him desperately. You want him to come in and flourish, is what I'm trying to say.
right, right,
You
yeah, and
know?
that's what I thought that they would do. I thought that they would, like try to coach them through the day, like something like how we're watching with the Chicago Bears on Max right now.
Yeah.
They're, you know what I mean? Like they're going through Caleb Williams with the process of what it's like to go through like the game day and everything. Like I want to see, a little more in that. I'm not saying I want to see him the whole time. Like this third preseason game, all right, whatever. Like don't play him. I don't care.
Hmm.
But like the first two, I would have like to seen a little more than I seen already.
Hmm.
If that makes sense right there.
No, no, it most definitely makes sense. Um, I don't know. I don't know what Atlanta's thinking here. Um, but I'm interested to see like how are they going to handle it with Kirk and with, Michael Penix, being down the pike and, because you don't want to get into that situation where it's like you drafted him for nothing now, you know,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
you lose
Yeah.
him for nothing also.
Yeah. It would be a waste.
Exactly.
It'd be a waste of what you pulled. And
Exactly.
just going into, because I'll introduce it right now. We're going into previewing the NFC South right now.
Hmm.
So, and obviously Atlanta's part of that. So we jumped ahead. But going into just the Falcons alone, they have people like Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson.
Hmm.
So, you know what I mean? So, and they've already wasted a good amount of time not having a quarterback with these type of guys who
Yeah.
can produce, who have shown that they could produce at the highest level.
Hmm.
So, and I know Kirk Cousins is really good. Obviously, he did his thing over in Minnesota. He did his thing in Washington as well.
Hmm.
But it's like, you don't know how he's going to come off of this injury, and then we don't see how Michael Penix Jr. really is with the first team. So, like what is the product that we're getting from them? Because we already see what we're getting on defense at least.
Hmm.
So it's more so what is the offense really going to look like? That's my biggest question.
I completely agree with you. I completely agree. I completely agree. It's a lot of question marks, but we're just gonna have to wait and see because
Yeah,
like there's just nothing else that we can do. And they have like, not an easy schedule in these first couple of weeks. They got the Steelers, they got the Eagles, and they got the Chiefs, the Saints, the Buccaneers. Like, like those first couple of weeks are gonna be a little tough for them.
yeah, no, yeah, they face they're not gone. Their schedule is pretty tough. Now that I'm actually looking at it,
Their schedule is very tough.
those first four games almost essentially,
Hmm.
and then into the fourth game, the fifth game, sixth game, like you're in your division games.
Yeah, you're into your
You,
division games, and you should
you
have no
see,
problem taking care of like you should have no problem taking care of Carolina, Tampa Bay, like you know what I mean. But
well, I don't know about Tampa.
I know Tampa is a little Tampa. Yeah, Tampa's like
I don't know about Tampa. Speaking of Tampa, Tampa has Baker Mayfield back with Rashard White in the backfield with him. They have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. They
right.
also drafted Jalen McMillan. I think they also have Kate Otten as their tight end. So that offense itself is tough, along with Tristan Wirfs, who's leading the way on the offensive line. And then you got defense with Vita Vea and Levante David and Antoine Whitfield Jr. So I don't know.
No, Tampa Bay can most definitely make a playoff run, and they could catch a team in that divisional round. Most definitely.
If there
Um,
was it
Even
was it was like
the wild card round,
yes, yes, yes,
they could most
yes.
definitely like,
I
they could
think
sneak up on you.
going back to last season, they
Mhm.
if they were I think they were a couple plays away from moving on to the next round.
They were. No, they literally were.
And if I'm not mistaken, if they had took a timeout at a certain place, I forgot what at what time it was. They should have took a timeout. It was like in the deep in the fourth quarter. They should have took a
Mhm.
timeout, and then they probably would have had like another play
Mhm.
to capitalize on against. I think it was Detroit. So yeah, they were just a couple plays away from actually. going on the run that Detroit went on, essentially.
Exactly, exactly, and changing the entire trajectory of like how we talk about somebody like Baker Mayfield now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
But I
and
feel like, but I feel like him leading that team the way that he did, and then also getting them to where they were, I think
Mhm.
the trajectory already has
Already
changed.
has changed. Exactly. And he still has things to prove, I believe, too. He's not gonna just like let that be his one and done, like let that fall by the wayside. Like, no, he's gonna compete and Mike Evans, too, is going to compete. Mike Evans
Hmm.
is arguably like, you know what I mean? Like what, top like 12, top 10 receiver if you really want to put him up there. Like, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like, but in terms of like longevity and consistency as well, like, somebody that is just always gonna fight for his yards and always gonna just do what he can to do to help his team win. Those are two guys and that are crucial. You know,
yeah. I think if I'm not mistaken, Mike Evans has had 1,000 receiving yards each year that he's been
every
in the
year,
league.
every year. Talk about consistency. Talk about consistency.
Yeah, man, that's a quiet legend. That's one of
Silent
those you won't,
assassin.
you know what I mean? You
Silent
won't hear from
assassin.
him. You won't hear from him, but he's there.
Yeah, most
He's there,
definitely.
and
Mm-hmm.
everybody will let you know too.
Mm-hmm.
Going to the New Orleans Saints, still got Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara was
Mm-hmm.
one of my personal favorite running backs in the league. Chris Olave, on defense, they have Cam Jordan on the line, Demario Davis and Willie Gay at the linebacker spots, and Tyrann Mathieu and Marshawn Lattimore leading the way in the secondary. So they got some studs on that team too.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't
Forget they
see
got Chase
them,
Young as well.
huh?
They got Chase
Chase
Young.
Young? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That's right,
Mm-hmm.
Chase Young, Chase Young. I forgot Chase Young went there.
Me too. Me too. Me too. But that's so they got Tyrann Matthew as well. Like that.
Yeah, no, no, no. I mentioned them.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
said him. You said him. Yeah, yeah. But just like good names on, that can cause some havoc on the defensive end.
yeah.
And Derek Carr can win you some games most definitely.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
Jamal Williams, that's your running back position.
Yeah.
With Alvin
He's the second.
Kamara.
He's the second. He's the second running back. He was there. Yeah, I remember what was it, a couple of years ago when he was with Detroit. He was the leading touchdown running back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, they like I said, they have a very underrated squad. They're one of those squads that I don't think that they go any further than if they were to get into the playoffs. Eh, They could possibly win a wild card game if they're at home,
Mm-hmm.
but other than that, I don't really see them going that far.
I think a lot of things would have to go right for them. Um,
Yeah.
I think there's still like some things that they could do, like, in the wide receiver position. Uh, like, and they have Spencer Rattler at QB, with Derek Carr getting older, maybe like, Spencer Rattler will, maybe taking a year behind Derek Carr, he can like start to understand, NFL things and start to understand like, how to become a pro in the league. And you never know, like, they could he could take that team all the way as well. Like, because
Hmm.
we talked
Hmm.
about Spencer Rattler with high regard, I think at a certain point as well. Um, so we gotta just wait and see. But I agree. I think they're like a wild card team ish, like, maybe just missing the playoffs, you know, because I definitely have them under 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 Tampa Bay. I would
Yeah.
definitely under Tampa Bay. Atlanta is a little iffy though.
Yeah, yeah. Atlanta's the one where it's like, because you just heard me. I was just putting
Mhm.
out all those like theories and question marks about who they were. So I think that's a to be determined right there. Tampa
Mhm.
Bay, we already got a glimpse of what we were seeing last year, and I feel
Mhm.
like they're only going to get stronger this year. So I feel like we're going to see them in that top slot. But then Saints, like I said, they're going to be one of those teams where if you're not careful, they might steal your spot, or if anything, they'll at least, try to kill your uh chances of getting to the postseason. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's who I see them as.
Mhm. Okay.
Going to Carolina, they're trying to come back after a horrible first season with Bryce Young. So hopefully they get that right. They have Chuba Herbert at running back, along with now they have Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen together at wide receiver. They have guys like Jadeveon Clowney and Jace Horn on the defensive side. But other than that, um, I think the biggest thing for them is just making sure that they improve on what they had from last year.
That's
That's all.
literally it. They lost Brian Burns this year. I think that was like really, really big for them to
Hmm.
lose him. Because he's a great defensive player. But I don't like Carolina just I'm looking to see something out of Bryce Young. I'm looking to hopefully they could use him the right way. He can, start to get hot a little bit. And that's really it.
After that, yeah, it ain't nothing else to it.
I pretty much have him at the bottom of the heap in terms of like NFL teams at this point in right now, you know?
Yeah, yeah, same for me.
hmm
Same for me. I think we'll see them at the top of the draft, maybe once, maybe
Yeah,
once more. I'd say, if anything, and then after that, they'll figure out where to go from there.
most definitely.
Moving on to the NFC West, the Arizona Cardinals, they're still rocking with Kyler Murray, so still haven't given up on him yet. James Conner is with him in the backfield. Drafted one of the best rookies, in Marvin Harrison Jr. after trading away Hollywood Brown. Now he's with the Chiefs. They have a good tight end over there and the offense is all right. The defense is on the same tier. I guess all right too, led by Buda Baker, and you know, Cardinals is another team where you're not really sure what you're really gonna get. I think we'll see them in the position that they were last year, where they're just looking to see where their best improvement is and try to build off of that.
I agree with you. But drafting somebody like a Marvin Harrison Jr., he can change the trajectory of a franchise. That's what they took him at that pick for. Um,
Hmm.
with Kyler Murray as well. Kyler Murray, we've been looking to see some big things out of Kyler, these past couple of years, and we just haven't. He's kind of fallen by the wayside, and it's kind of sad because like I like Kyler a lot actually, just because of like, he was counted out because of his size and whatnot. And I think that like he can be like, as good as like maybe like a peak Russell Wilson could have like, was.
Okay.
Um, so, rolling outside, maybe finding Marvin Harrison to be able to like just throw that thing up because Marvin Harrison was built for the NFL. Like he was built to be in the NFL wide receiver position. So I'm just hoping that they can connect, and really like create some things and, change that organization. That's really that's really all I got for them. Defense is just like as well. I don't think
Hmm.
they have like a great defense. So it's not much to rely on there, to be quite honest with you. So that's really what I see from it.
Yeah, yeah. I think once they start showing themselves on offense and we'll start seeing who they are, I think in the next couple off seasons we'll start seeing them build upon and get both sides of the ball
hmm
strapped up.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Los Angeles Rams, still have Matt Stafford and Kyron Williams at running back. Wide receivers, obviously, with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp looking to capitalize on their great year, along with Tyler Higbee, who should be coming back from injury. Still not sure when. I didn't look that up, but this Tyler Higbee should be coming back at some point. On defense, they got one of my favorite draftees in Jared Verse from Florida State. They got Tre'Davious White from the Bills on that defense too. So very tough to obviously replace a Hall of Famer like Aaron Donald on that defense, but I think the offense can compensate for a lot though.
Yeah, I agree. With the breakout season that Puka Nacua had, and you got Cooper Kupp there as well. It goes to like what we were just talking about with the Eagles. You can't double both of them. One of them is going to be open. Um,
Hmm.
and Matthew Stafford, he's known to make those type of throws. He can lead a team to a Super Bowl. Um, I can definitely see them being like an NFC championship contender. Seeing them maybe like, facing the Eagles, facing the 49ers, like you never know what could happen.
Like Green
Um,
Bay, yeah.
Green Bay even as well. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Um, So we've seen them do it before, but losing Aaron Donald does that's a big loss. That's a real big loss.
Hmm.
'Cause, nobody can replace a Hall of Fame I'm sorry, nobody can replace a Hall of Fame tackle like he could, like him. He was just the GOAT pretty much at his position. And so that's I'm interested to see how that defense will be able to bounce back. But I got faith in the offense. I got faith in Matt Stafford and Puka and Cooper because they
Yeah.
haven't shown me anything like otherwise.
Right. Yeah. As long as they're healthy, then
Exactly.
anytime Matt Stafford drops back, then someone's a threat to get open and make some
hmm
damage happen. So,
hmm
and, like I said, also with Kyron Matthew coming out of the backfield, if
Yeah.
they get their run game established, then it's at that point it's a flip a coin and pick your poison on who's gonna come and get you. You know what I mean? Whether it be the passing or the running game. So
hmm
that Rams team is don't be surprised. I'll put it to you like that. Don't be surprised.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all.
Seattle. Seattle still has Smith coming back, Kenneth Walker, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith and Jigma at wide receiver. They got Noah Fant at tight end, on defense, and then they got Leonard Williams, Jerome Baker, Reek Woolen, Julian Love, Devon Witherspoon in the secondary. Plus they got Mike McDonald, who is, a pretty good defensive coordinator after what he did with the Ravens. So to come in
Yeah.
with a defense like that, in a pretty good offense.
Yeah, no,
In a
a
pretty good
pretty
offense.
a pretty good offense that can get it done if they keep everybody together and everybody's healthy. Gino could lead them there. Gino
Yeah.
could.
Gino is not that he's not that bad. There's some things where it's like, all right, like
Yeah.
don't throw that. But overall, I do like him.
hmm
And I think that as long as everybody stays on script, I think that they can make some noise.
I agree. I agree, especially like, on the defensive end, having that the defensive coordinator from the Ravens is just huge because we talked about that so much with the on the Ravens side with losing him. And
Hmm.
to come into Devin Witherspoon, like that kid is nice, yo. Like that kid is I think he could be like a top tier cornerback in the league. Like I'm
Oh
talking
yeah.
like Island, like you don't want to throw it to him almost.
All right.
I've seen a lot of things where I'd be like, I don't want to throw it that. I'm not throwing the ball that way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Um
trust me, I understand that one.
so it's just all about maybe can they put it together? Can DK really have a real good breakout season, really put the team on his back? And with Kenneth Walker at running back too, he's really, really good. I like him a lot. So we just gotta wait and see. We'll see what Pete Carroll could do, you know? Can he
Well, Pete Carroll not there no more.
be right? Oh my goodness, you're so right. You are so correct. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yo, I'm used to Pete Carroll being there. My fault, guys.
It's a little different now, but
It is. It most definitely is different now.
we low key running on time, so we're gonna try to rush through this a bit. 49ers, they basically bringing back most of the same squad. The only thing they're waiting on is Ayuk to sign, and also Trent Williams. He's still not signed, but they feel like they're gonna get the Trent Williams thing done sooner rather than later. Especially with once Ayuk is done, then after that they know that they can get Trent Williams done with these. They're not worried about Trent Williams, but Ayuk is the only one that they're really worried about and trying to get back if they can. If not, then they're gonna have to trade him. As a Steelers fan, my fingers are crossed. um, the defense is still for the most part intact with Nick Bosa and Javon Hargrave. Then you got Dre Greenlaw. Well, excuse me, for Achilles. I'm sorry about that. Not Dre Greenlaw, but you have Fred Warner still there, and you got guys like Ward in the secondary. Wanted to get to Rutgers, but I'm not sure if we can because not gonna lie, I just ran out of time. I did that that whole thing with Atlanta actually took me way left than I thought it would earlier.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one's on me. But we will get into Rutgers and see how they are coming into the season.
Gotcha.
Because
Gotcha.
I wanted to make sure that we got to them at least,
Mhm.
we know that they will beat Howard, who they play next week, next Thursday, matter of fact. So by the time you guys hear our next episode after this one, that's when you guys will hear our prediction on who they will be. So I don't think anything that we talk about with Rutgers will affect what happens on Thursday next
On
Thursday night.
Thursday.
So
Okay.
yeah. No, so they'll be more than fine.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But
But Rutgers.
yes sir, yes sir. Are you already know. Um, other than that, I'm your host Cam Silver.
I'm your co-host, Kyle Silver.
We are the Silver Boys.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's going on, everybody? It's Cam Silver from the Silver Boys. If you like our content, subscribe to the channel and like our videos. Thank you for watching.